The worst words you can hear in a marriage is, "You've been served." I can laugh now, but when you're 33 and trying to build something in a life, it's not cool. I'm an old man now, and I've been through it. So I just want to let you know that this title, it's so popular now on my YouTube. Divorce is a big deal. I want to talk about the 5 pillars of success, which I believe I developed. In fact, I should copyright that shit. Divorce, I'm telling my life. Most people wouldn't do it. I'm going to give you the story. I was a president of a company, a family business. It was September 23rd. I even know the date because it's one of my brother's birthday. I have 7 brothers because I'm number 8. And we're all alive to this day. 1988, beautiful day in September, St. Paul, Minnesota, fall day. I just got back from Harvard Business School through a course called the Owner President Management Program. It was very, very exciting. And, I was on top of the world. I was president of a company. I was 33 years old. I had 3 children, a new home, married, a family man, a businessman, 150 employees. I believe I treated well because they treated me well, okay? I had a forewarning that, things were not that great at home, but I was a workaholic. So it was like, well, what am I doing? I'm providing a home. I'm not cheating. I'm not abusive. I'm not an alcoholic. I had all these ideas that I'm the greatest husband in the world, okay? I get a knock on my door, my office door, the president. And then my sister was at the front desk as a receptionist. I got a door, a knock. I says, yes. And my sister opened it up maybe 6 inches or so. She says, there's someone here to see you, Rock. I says, okay. I open the door, stand up from my desk, walk over to the door. And there's this gentleman there. Never met him. I'm used to clients and business and so on. And he goes, are you Rock LaManna? I said, yes. You've been served. Good luck. These are your walking papers. No shit. And I'm stunned. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that's actually true. I know my wife was upset, because I was doing my own thing as a workaholic, but I thought I was a provider. I was raised, that's talking about my foundation, okay? My pillars of success. I wrote them here to try to keep my head on straight. These are part of my YouTubes, the 5 pillars of success. We'll talk about those. I have them on my playlist. Number 1 is foundation. Number 2 is mastery, transformation, independence, and legacy. That's how I took my 50-year career in business, roll it up into these 5 pillars. I started it, actually, I kind of formatted the process, the course, maybe I could call it, and this is part of your foundation. What I mean by that is your foundation is how you were raised. Your family, your friends, your schools, your priests, your mentors. Everyone that touched you shaped you to be a certain person in your foundation. Of course, you're going to make your own decisions, which way you want to go. I was always kind of a go-getter, you know what I mean? I was always into sports. I wasn't a great student. But when I had my mind on something, I was really a goal setter. I said, you know what, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. And by the time I'm 40, I'm ready to go. My kids will be out because I had children all in my 20s. And at this time, going through my first divorce, I was 33, just like Jesus, crucified. I was crucified. So where do I go from here? My first move, and this is where I want you to start thinking about, not about, oh, poor Rock, or not even, I'm not boasting. I'm saying, listen, I'm giving you my story so you could start thinking about it yourself, male or female, okay? Or you could give your kids a heads up, because that's what happened to me. I was number 5 in the order of 11. And we never had a divorce in the family that had to do with assets. That's the most critical thing, is assets in a divorce. It's not the children and guidelines, and you have your relationship with your kids. And I always had a good relationship with my kids because I put them all into sports, the best schools. I gave them what my buddy Mark told me years ago as a principal of a parochial school. He says, Rock, the best thing you could do for your kids is start them young. Education, sports, teamwork, reading, writing, the whole 9 yards. And he had a grade school. And I kept that in my mind. He goes, the most experiences you could give them, the better. That could be dance, it could be sports, it could be baseball, or softball, male or female. Push them into activities. Expose them to the world. Trips. But here's what I did in those years. Everything was business related. My vacations were business connected. When my kids were small, I was in the RV business providing graphics with 3M. So I'd go down to see the RVs and I'd get, wow, I'm going to rent one. Not buy one. I'm going to rent one and drive cross country with my kids and my wife at the time and say, hey, this is the wild, wild west. Let's try it. But my mind never left the company. So I was calling and I was showing my kids colleges. Notre Dame. Another school we went by was Air Force. Air Force. I remember going to the campuses, and they're like 11, 12, and then Dan in the middle was, a couple years younger, and then Laura was a few years younger than Dan. So I was always exposing the kids to something, but my mind was never really there, except that, hey, look at the mountains. Colorado, let's go to Chicago, go see my mentors in Chicago and relatives at Italian, and we go to Italian restaurants, and it was quite the life. I thought I was doing the best I could. In the meantime, I'm making money. And I'm making enough money that I'm going to buy the business. That was my dream, buy the business. And so I can't go through all that, but I did write a book, my memoir. It's called They Named You Right. And no, it's a memoir, but it's clean. It's more or less about the family entrepreneurs. We have 5 generations of entrepreneurs, including my son and his wife. So going back to the divorce, the first thing I did was we called our business attorney. My dad and I said, oh my God, you got served? What do I do with this? I went to my father. I said, what do I do? Who do I know? I don't know a divorce attorney. I didn't even know they specialize. I thought it was just a process. No. The business attorney, who knew my dad for 40 years, said, I recommend you see this guy named Peter Blah. And then I was in the process of buying the business, and that attorney said, you should talk to this divorce attorney. And they matched up. So I didn't interview him. I didn't know anything about him. I just thought, well, okay, I'm blind. I don't know what to do. That's where I'm going to say it was one of my biggest mistakes, is I picked the wrong horse. Do you know what I mean? Picking the wrong horse? You could pick the wrong spouse. You could pick the wrong friends. You could pick the wrong addiction. You could pick the wrong church. You could pick the wrong career. You could pick the wrong college. I mean, I could go on and on. That's the reason why I call it be careful. Make sure you pick the right horse. And that's been a kind of a saying in our family, picking the right horse. Don't forget, I was very emotional, and I thought I could fix everything. You know what I mean? I'm a sales guy. I can negotiate things. You can't negotiate. There's laws. And that's not a problem. I thought I would work something out with my ex-wife. No. They had attorneys. And you know what? I'm going to mention this to you. People that have been exposed to divorces in families and friends and brothers and sisters and so on. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a strategy. But no one realizes the emotional, mental, physical pain it takes. And that's just on you personally. That doesn't include the finance. It's pretty bad, man. But the people are asking and responding in my YouTube about divorce. So it's either you're thinking about it, you've been through it, your friends are going through it, something's going on, and it only gets worse as you get older. That's when they call it gray beard divorce for the people that gray. And don't forget, I was actually fortunate at 33. I could transform my pillars. I could transform myself. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about is, hey, be aware. This is your life, not the attorney's. Okay? The law firm. They're very expensive. The more money you have, the worse it is. And know the laws of the state. The state makes a big difference. I'm not going to tell you my results. That's where you could come in. Go on Amazon, pick up my book. They named you right. And that's my gift to my grandchildren. And my legacy is my book, my memoir. And what motivated me about the book, the memoir, was when my mother passed away at 94. And the funeral, there were so many people there from high school, grade school, college, and everything, and friends, and neighborhood, and all that. Oh, your mom, your mom, your mom. And I said, man, I better get this book on paper before my dad passes away. You know what? The book was a big hit with my dad because he didn't know my story, because I didn't tell him my story. I always felt like, you know what? Don't bring problems to my father. I could handle them myself. Because I saw my family bringing problems to my parents. You got to be your own person, man. You got to be your own person, make your own decisions. Now, the other thing that was big in the divorce was my Catholic faith. And my wife, at the time, she was also Catholic. So we were married in the church. But you know what? There were so many red flags before. But we were only 22 and 21. So do you want to hear some advice? I mean, my advice is there's two things you got to be careful of. If you're the father, if you're the parent, the mother, and your children are getting married, don't even think about a prenup until I share what I have to say. My attorney buddy, Ron, who passed away, a lot of my mentors are gone now. I'm 71. My dad's still alive at 100. He's still got his faculties and so on. But most of the friends I have are dead and gone. In the 70s and the 80-year-old. You know, I had a couple buddies in their 90s. And I love talking to the elderly. I love the greatest generation because they've been through shit, man. And they're really patriotic. And what they did in Second World War and during the Depression and everything, that's a story in itself. And that's why I love that leadership. That leadership. So going back to the prenup, it's really about the foundation of their family, your kid's family. And you know what? Your kids might not even listen to you. That's okay. They might not listen to you. My kids only listen at certain times. And there's no doubt in my mind, boys and girls are different, raising them. Of course, I'm a boy, and I was raised with 7 brothers. So we're all alphas. My sisters were treated different by my mother and her father. Okay? Different generation. So today's world, looking at my children and what generation they're at, everybody's got a different way of going about it. But if I gave advice now, today, to a nephew, a niece, or whatever. And by the way, I'm seeing them get married later in life. What's later? 20s, 30s, maybe later. I have a nephew that just got married. He's close to 40, and he's having kids right away. And, people don't think about getting married in the church anymore. They think about that wedding. And that wedding could be $150,000. Who's going to pay for it? Or we're going to share it? Or it's not the tradition where the wife pays for it or the future bride pays. No, especially if their parents were divorced. It's all about finance, man. And there were red flags. I had red flags that I look back on. Did I pick the wrong horse? Well, if I said yes, then I wouldn't have my 3 kids. 3 great kids. I don't have any problems with my kids. You see? So I'm happy. Now, they're not happy that I'm on YouTube saying this because I'm exposing my life. What I went through emotionally, physically. Everybody thinks about affordability. Can you even afford to go through a divorce today? And look at the statistics. First marriages, they say, is 43, less than 50. Second marriage is in the 70%. And the third marriage and plus, and I know people that are married 5 times, it's a business. So going back to Ron, my mentor that was the attorney, he was married once, and he represented business people that were going through divorces. He says, Rock, this is after 2 years I was married to my second wife. He said, and we were business partners. And he goes, Rock, I married for love. And I looked at first marriages as love. And I would say that's true for me. Okay? But I also thought and expected that my life was going to be very similar to what my parents' generation did. The mother takes care of the kids, the father provides. But nobody talked about 16, 18-hour days. Okay? That's why I tell in my book. So I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming her for leaving me. It hurt, though, when you're served at work. I mean, that was insulting. And it hurt. I was ashamed because everybody saw what was going on. And I was a crazy guy, because then you feel like you're a criminal because the state owns you, not the Catholic Church. Forget about annulments and no. So after Ron says, Rock, the first one seems like, after all my clients of 50 years, I always felt like the first marriage is for love and the second marriage is a transaction. It's a business transaction. And you know what? I walked out of his home. I was at his home at the time, just talking. And I walked out and I went, God, thank God I got a prenup. Thank God I got covered on this, on that. Because my second marriage was a transaction all the way. I thought I learned from the first one. Cover your ass. Have a prenup. Have this, have that. I was over legalized. Insurances, assets, home. I paid for everything. I owned everything. Now, what's the advice you give your kids? Here's my advice after 2 marriages and 24 years total in marriages. My advice would be do a background check on the potential, I shouldn't say that, potential, on the opportunity, or should I say target, of your future spouse. Do a background check. And you both should. Because you might discover, like I've discovered in the past, nasty stuff that was never exposed. That's what we call discovery in business, or due diligence, or vetting. In legal terms for a divorce, they call it discovery. And discovery is very expensive. Very expensive. So my advice would be, number one, get a background check on your future spouse. And number two, you're going deeper. You do a background check on the family, the parents. There could be a lot of disruption. And you know what? Could history repeat itself? Could it? Yes, it could. I made a mistake. I picked the wrong horse. After my second marriage, I picked the wrong horse. And I thought I had every base covered. So I really want to focus on the 5 pillars of success. But I also want to let you know that marriage could be a success or a failure. It's risky business. And do people change? Yes. It's tough out there, man. The other thing that I noticed about people, there could be addiction problems. There could be gambling. There could be infidelity. There could be alcohol. Lazy. Not everybody's driven. That's one thing I've noticed about myself. I mean, I'm 71 years old and I'm still rocking. I'm still rocking. I like when I could mentor people, because I've been very successful with picking the right horse in business, people. But I also believe in 3 T's, the 3 T's. That's another thing that I've learned over the years. When you're picking the right horse, because I could pick and choose now, I'm much more independent and much more competent and experienced. I use the 3T method. Oh, you asked me the 3 T's. Okay. Number 1, trust. You trust the person you're dealing with in business, in fiduciary duty, a partnership of some sort. It could be a business. It could be in marriage, whatever it is. So trust. You need to trust people because they all talk about that, especially now, in social media. It's always about know, like, and trust. The big T. So I call it the 3 T's. Trust, number 1. Transparency is number 2. Because I've been in the merger and acquisition deal business for years. And I have to trust that the facts are the facts and the numbers are the numbers and the valuations are trustworthy. And Ron used to tell me, Rock, the most important thing about a profit and loss is the notes from the CPA. Because they're licensed. They got to expose. They got to be transparent. Oh, there's a problem here with this line item. Watch those, Rock. I learned a lot of stuff. And the 3rd T is timeline. Are you making things happen within a certain amount of time? Because, as they say, time kills deals. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I've been in that situation. And if you put time and investment in the people and they're just take, not give, you better pick that up right away. Just got to be cautious. Now, that's what I learned in the first divorce and the first process. Once again, I kind of had to retract in my foundation and go back and got my kicked in the balls multiple times. That included the courts. That included my ex-wife. That included my father at times in business, my brothers and sisters, because I was the bad guy. They had no clue what I went through. Nobody. The attorneys, it's all about payback, money. They don't live with the decision. They don't live with the decision. You do. And that's what I'm trying to say about your life. You make these decisions. I say to my kids, you made that decision, you live with the consequence. People don't know what could happen. That's what they call a risk-benefit analysis. Risk analysis. And that's how attorneys take on projects. Well, it's too risky. You know what? I'll take 50% on contingency. Nah, let's settle. And here's the other thing I want to teach you or remind you of. OPM. What does OPM stand for? People are going to know what that means. Other people's money. It's not owner management program. It's other people's money. Okay? Now, what's PM? PM's personal money. What's more difficult to deal with? Personal money. And who's your partner in everything? Your personal wealth, your business, whatever it may be. Your partner is Uncle Sam. That's why taxes are always talked about. Social Security. People underestimate about how important Social Security is because I'm there now. My dad's 100. He retired at 65 like all the good old boys did from the Greatest Generation. He walked away and said, I'm done with this shit. Never turned back. He's 100. We were having breakfast one day. He goes, Rock, did you take retirement yet? I could take it at 62. I could take it at whatever. But full benefit was 66. I said, no, I'm going to wait till I'm 70. He goes, no, take it now. You never know what's going to happen. I was born in 54, so 54 was a flat 66 years old. Then the other thing I learned was you go to see a specialist in Medicare and specialists in Social Security. They take care of all the paperwork. It's basically a broker, insurance broker. I found the right guy, and he helped me. They say you do it 3 months before you're ready to take. Okay? I actually felt like it was getting unemployment, which was a sin in my family because we all worked. We were taught never to be on unemployment. You got to work. And you know what? I know people today that wish, well, they went through their divorce or they quit their jobs or they went without a job for 3, 4, 5 years. Well, listen, this all adds up to your 40 quarters for your Social Security. Even if you take a gig, I know people that worked a third shift at Target with an MBA driving a forklift just to have income to come back for Social Security, to add up your top 40 quarters of employment. That's why filing taxes is important. Paying your taxes is important. It's all good. So don't underestimate that. Education. How important is education? In my life, it was continuous. I'm still, writing books, doing narration. I'm on social media in my 70s. Why? Because I can still do it. I got buddies that have their legs amputated. I got friends that are alcoholics. I have friends that have been divorced more than once, 3, 4 times. Can you come back from that? I don't know. They all know I'm a workaholic. I'm what we call a go-go. I'm a go-go. Some people wish they were a go-go. I was fortunate that I could afford going through a divorce. There's a lot of people that can't. I feel for them. But you have to turn around and brush off and do it again. I call that confidence. You got to have confidence. You got to be competent and confident that you have a goal and you're going to meet those goals and those milestones step by step. Not, I'm going to be rich from here to here. The other thing that drives me crazy is entitlement. No, we weren't brought up to be entitled. We were brought up to be workers. And guess what? I expect that too. And yeah, I'm hard. I'm hard on my kids. I was hard on my kids, but guess what? It paid off. It paid off. They don't bring me problems. And I don't want to bring them problems. I could go on and on about divorce. I could go on and on the benefits of divorce. But everybody thinks, oh, benefits such a sad, and the kids. No. There's multiple reasons why. You could look it up in AI, all the statistics you want, the top 5 reasons why people go through divorce. You can go through all of it. But everyone's case is different. And not only as an individual, it's the couple. Because it's always about 2. It takes 2. It's how you rebound. It's how you rebound. And stay on course to be a happy person. There's a difference between unconditional love and conditional love, because I know that. I know that. Another saying my dad would say, because this is what I mean about my dad and my parents, he taught us a lot of shit, man. That's why I'm out there trying to learn. That's why I'm trying to pass on my shit. This is what I got. Now you say, Rock, are you happy? Fucking right, I'm happy. Because I've survived this shit. And I want to pass it on. I'm in legacy. Foundation, I know. Mastery took me many years, 20, 30. I'm in business 50 years. I'm still learning. Transformation, I've changed career and life 8 to 10 times. And I'm still changing. Independence. Independence and free. My mentor told me many years ago, 25 years ago, Rock, that's the goal in life. He's dead now. I'm still here. But it's still going through me every day. His photo is on my TV, is Uncle Frank. Frank, you were right. I quote him every day. I quote him in my head, my dad, my parents, every day. It's embedded in me. I pick and choose which is good. The other thing that I learned over the years is colors show. What does colors show mean? Colors show is these people, you thought they were so loyal. But you know what? There's betrayal. That's pretty normal today. Money is key. PM, personal money, is very, very important. Once you start cutting them off, see how things change. What about you? What about your life? What about you if you're struggling and your kids don't know? Or you think you're going to get payback? Restitution? Fuck. No. Your restitution is, my dad wasn't a very good dad. I did the best I could. And the cards that were dealt, I feel lucky, I feel blessed that I got through this shit. With or without a wife. Risk benefit. And YouTube is telling me people want to know more. You know why? I got the courage to say it. What are you going to do? It's your life. You do what you want. You do what you want. You make your own decisions. My father would say to us in a harsh way, just think for yourself. I'd see that face. You see my face? Just think for yourself. Just take care of yourself. You know what that means? It means you take care of yourself first. The healthier you are, the better you could administer whatever wisdom you want. And colors show with my friends, during politics, during religion, the church, clients. I'm up to here. I'm done with that. So you got the independence and freedom. I can do what I want. In the United States, I can. And I bless the United States. However, I'm changing to go to international. Why? Because the international people appreciate what I'm doing. I'm helping kids. I'm helping younger generations that didn't have the foundation, didn't have the mastery. They didn't have the opportunities that I got. And I took my opportunities. There's many people that were offered opportunities and didn't take them. That's their problem. That's called regret. They regret their past. No. All these unemployed people today, I got a call from a friend from 3M. She got laid off after 30 years, and it wasn't according to her plan to retire. And she calls me, Rock, what do I do? I said, what do you mean, what do you do? What have you been doing for 30 years? You're supposed to be evolving, adapting. Don't people know what adapt means? During COVID, the word was pivot. Now it's adapt. Doesn't anybody have a strategy, a personal strategy and a career strategy? I got a strategy. And we got another one, legacy. That's my legacy. I'm passing it on. And some people aren't going to like it. But you know what? I don't have to take orders from anybody. I'm lucky and blessed. And a lot of it, I believe, is God. I said, Rock, okay, you fucked up here. Pay the cost, whatever it is, and move on. Go help other people, the people that really care about your philosophies, about your values, about your compassion, about your empathy. Respect. Then I divorced again, got married in my mid-50s, and divorced 12 years later. What the fuck did I learn? Different people, different things, different countries, different traditions. I mean, different languages. But it's actually kind of funny because, I had a plan like most people. Most people, when you're younger, they don't have a plan. One thing that 3M taught me was a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, and a 10-year strategic plan. Back in those days, when I was in the 80s, there was always a strategic plan. Harvard would teach us strategic plans. Think out, well, guess what? I'm 71 now. I'm thinking, hey, where am I at? My father's 100. I said, Dad, how you doing? Let's meet up. Hey, listen, Rock, I don't know next day if I'm going to have my mind. I don't know if I'll be alive next. I mean, it's true. It's true. My parents have 11 children. We're all alive. 79 to 60. 8 boys and 3 girls. What a story. And it's still going. So when I see my father, he's a great role model. Not only in business, he kicked me in the balls many times. Okay? I was betrayed. I don't feel like I betrayed him because I was too loyal. But once you get betrayed, or there's deceit or lies or changing plans, we call it, my brother and I call it the carrot and the stick. We get the stick most of the times, but we had the vision that family will never fuck us. That's not true. Especially if you're not blood. If you're not family, but it happens family and non-family. Live your foundation and respect your foundation. Respect the people that raised you. Go back in time. What did people teach you? Coaches and teachers and all this other stuff besides family. Then you got mastery. What you've been doing for the last 20, 30 years. Because you can't master something without years and years and years. And if you keep changing careers, you're going to be a generalist. Okay? Then transformation is when it's time that, I mastered this, now it's time to do YouTube, Rock. I'm like, okay, I'll do YouTube. I sell the technology instead of writing books, narration and so on. I'll do this. It's easier for me. And I leave something for my grandkids. Here's Papa Rock. I'm Papa Rock. And then independence and freedom. I've been independent and free in between my divorces. In my career, because I called my own shot. I was lucky and blessed. But I treated people right. They treated me right. And we did the right thing. That's the other thing my dad used to say. Just do the right thing. It's easier. It's hard, especially when money's involved. You gotta let it go. But when you've been through a divorce and do child support and you pay alimony and all this, you get used to it. You get used to it, and you know what? You got to let it go. Forget the resentment, because it's a gift to forgive. It really is. Because it took me years to forgive. I would lose a game and I'd be pissed off. Hated losing. It's art and a gift to learn how to lose and how to forgive and how to let go. Yep. Then legacy is, I'm living it now. I'm leaving my legacy to my families. And I'm actually proud. I'm proud that I'm doing this. It took courage to do this, to speak my mind and just say it. I love this freedom of speech that I could say whatever I want. But it's all fact. There's no lies here. Yes, it's different. It's harsh. It's, what should I say, tough love. But hey, I lived it. I don't have to take orders from anybody. I'm at the point where I'm working with people, young people today, that like my style and appreciate it. And I want them to be not only successful in their personal lives, because I'm pro-marriage. I'm pro-babies, for sure, okay? But there's so much corruption out there and so many lies. And you know what? We don't have time for that, do we? And I'm not a hater. I hate when people hate. You get to know who they are. But then you let go of the toxic relationships. There's no sin in that. Only God knows where we're going to end up. So I still have my faith. And I pray. And I hope for the best. So anyway, I always end with, always bring joy. Flying high on TikTok, which is good. And I get international exposure. And a lot of people don't speak English that follow me, so we got to make changes. I do have somebody in Vietnam that puts my captions into Vietnamese. Sandy does what she has to do with her software, and I appreciate it. I have another team member, Anna, who does all my websites and my graphics and my trademarks. I got some really talented people that believe in me, respect me, I respect them. We're growing together. Okay? So my mantra is always bring joy. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'll talk to you guys soon. God bless. Always bring joy. And thank you for watching and listening. Give me some questions. Give me some likes. It's all good because I'll answer it the best I can. And I appreciate the following. Talk to you soon.